Welcome to this update on the Yarslow Model Railway. In this video,
how do you eat an elephant? What does Rule 1 mean for you? And all the news and updates on the Yarslow layout itself. Now here's a question for you. How do you eat an elephant? A strange question you might think when we're talking about model railways, but a relevant one when you're thinking about a layout that is 27 by 12, 4 stations, 3-storey sidings, 10 controllers. It's quite an elephant. And I've come back after Christmas and I've walked in the shed and I've felt somewhat overwhelmed by what happens next. The track has all been laid and all been wired and tested, and now I've got to get on to making it look scenic. But where do you start? Well, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. So I'm going to start on the branch line and do the whole branch line first, including the buildings and all the other things that need doing. Then I'm going to move on and have a crack at Trinity Square. Then I'll probably do the permanent way yard at Yarslow, followed by Yarslow station itself, and finish off with all the little jobs around the whole layout that aren't necessarily to do with scenery, but will need doing before I can consider the thing basically complete. And of course, within each of those broad topics, there's going to be lots of little projects to do, like the big buildings at Trinity Square or all of the ballasting at Yarslow, and I will tackle each of those problems one bite at a time. And within a reasonable time period, I'll begin to see some progress. I won't have to do the ballasting of the whole layout in one go and get bored, so there'll be lots of things to do, and hopefully we'll make some really good progress. And of course, I'll keep you up to date with all those bits of progress and all those elephants that I've eaten with the videos on this channel, so please subscribe and stay in touch. So what is Rule 1? Well, Rule 1 is it's your layout, you do what you want. If you want to run a Trying Hornby 040 with a couple of wagons full of sweets around a set track radius 1 oval with a plastic tunnel at one end, that's fine. It's your railway, you do what you like. If you want to build high-end Proto 4 scale track, build your own engines and coaches and run 14 coach expresses around a shed the size of a tennis court, well, that's fine. It's your railway, you do what you like. And that is Rule 1. We have the freedom to do whatever we want to do, but there are exceptions. The exception is that if you are planning to build a model of Waterloo Station as it was in August 1939, then that's exactly what you've got to do. And if you put something in that shouldn't be there, then you're inviting criticism. Very few people do that, but those people that do make those kind of layouts are to be very much applauded. It's a huge challenge, it's a huge skill, and from my own experience, the vast majority of them pull it off really well. From my point of view, on my layout, I'm trying to model a place that didn't exist between 1959 and 1961. It's a nice big broad window. It's an amalgamation of bits of Great Eastern, bits of Great Northern, bits of Northeastern. There isn't no such place that covered those three territories. So I kind of get free hand to do what I like. But I have imposed my own rules that the bits that I do model are meant to look like a model. The trains are put together properly with the right head codes. They've got crew on the engines, etc., etc. So I've set my own standards, and that's what it's all about. The only person who can tell me I'm wrong is me. I set my own standards. I judge my layout by my own standards, and if I don't think it's good enough, I'll improve it. And that's what Rule 1 is all about. So progress this month has taken place in a number of areas. So the easiest way of me showing you that is to go round the layout in the order of my fictitious journey, you know, from Midworth into Trinity Square, then round to Yarslow, then up the branch. So let's take it in that order. So as far as the storage sidings are concerned, I've now made the first of the cartridges that will hold all the trains that only run occasionally. I've pinned this bit of track down just to make sure that I've got alignment nicely. And when they're made with all these other bits of timber and things that I've got, cork that I'm trying to flatten out, they will hold all of the trains, like this horsebox train, and there's the other express behind. There's one of the boys' trains that will get held, and they will sit on the rack that I made earlier. The second development has been around the Trinity Square storage sidings, where some of the trains were just touching each other as they ran in and out of storage. So I have spread these sidings out only by 1 millimetre or so, and I put a fascia on the front to avoid me knocking into the trains whenever I walk past. And I've managed to do that without moving any of the point work, so that's quite a result. I've added a few more wagons, and I've been reorganising trains just to make sure that the consists are right and that the trains look as good as they can. I've even managed to bring my old Class 22 back into service on a Hornby coupling fitted train, and I've swapped around one or two of the other engines just to make sure that I've got the right thing on the front of the right train. In the vicinity of Middle Junction, I've now put this back scene on to separate it from Yarslow. You can see the branch on the left, main line on the right, and the lines going round onto Trinity Square on the right here. Now as we make our way around to Trinity Square, you can see that I've now built this road overbridge on the way in with the shops above, and I've built some small ground signal kits and installed a number of these dummy electric point motors. Trinity Square is quite a modern terminus. There'll be colour light signals here, and these powered point motors run from the signal box. If we look the other way, I've also got ready to go a number of resin castings of the line side control boxes to go round where each of the point motors were. And I've mocked up using this polystyrene the platforms, so I now get a flavour for how the platforms are going to look, whether they're long enough, etc, etc. And I've not lost the opportunity to do a bit of playing trains. These are the vans that will be on the Trinity Square Vans trip, and I've had a chance to shunt them around. Now here's the other side of that back scene that we saw just now at Middle Junction. Yarslow hasn't changed a great deal. I've done a few little jobs here, but I haven't done a great deal. And at the permanent way yard end, apart from the back scene you can see that's gone up here, there's not a lot of progress at this stage. I'm still playing around with the buildings to see what looks good. Now we were talking about eating elephants earlier, and the first bite I've taken is on the branch line. You can see I've put in the point rodding for Butterbump and Mumby, and I've built this Wills overbridge kit. I've put a couple of trees in just for a flavour of how it's going to look, and mocked up some of these signals, and I've built from plastic card the platform on which these buildings are going to sit. Faces have been painted, and it's beginning to come together quite nicely. And this is what it looks like from the other end. You can see the little hut is going to live on the platform there as for lamps and the like. The back scene will be cut down once I put a fence on behind the platform. Put the signal the right way around. And you can see here where the baseboard now with the polystyrene gives me that contour of the line, the gradient falling left to right, and the line crossing the new bridge. These bridge piers are nothing more than 30 thou plastic card with a brick face added on. Make sure all the bricks are lined up, of course, and then they're painted and flat brushed to give that stone effect. Pick out a few of the individual stones and you end up with something that looks quite realistic. Simple but fun to make. Other jobs that have been done include framing up the master cab control panel for a bit more stability, adding a few more bits of coaching stock. My pilchard has arrived from Hatton's. This little train is known as Stopper 7, again from Hatton's. The shops and bits and pieces over Trinity Square. A water tower sitting up behind the coal stage at Trinity Square. I have put some Velcro to hold all the controllers in place around the layout. And finally added some resin loads to some of the open wagons. So as my resurrected Class 22 tunnels around with a fitted freight, I will bring this update video to an end. Please note that Yarslow is now on Instagram. Just go to @Yarslow and you'll find it. I'm going to post pictures most days, but not stuff of updates. I'm going to post a little kind of behind the scenes stuff just to give you a little extra view. So follow us on Instagram, subscribe to the channel for more updates as we go along. There's some more bite-sized bits videos coming as well. Thanks for sticking along, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you soon.